Hey, little biscuits and sun-dried tomatoes. Support for Medium Popcorn is brought to you by Manscaped, which is the best men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. I use the Lawnmower 4.0 with the wireless charging. That shit makes my balls run smooth. And y'all know how much I like talking about my balls and my dick. Because when I get the 5-star reviews and now I have Manscaped, everything's coming out branded, literally. But yeah, it helps me make sure that I'm refined. I'm clean shaven, looking like Terrence Howard and all the episodes of Empire. And so there's so many ways to enjoy Manscaped.
Guys, it's not just about us. You have 2 million men worldwide trust Manscaped. They trust their balls to Manscaped, and you can be a part of that 2 million too. I said, make it 2 million and one because you're a separate person. So we have an exclusive offer for you. You get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BUTTER20 at manscaped.com.
That's right. And I know we talked about the men using this stuff, but ladies, y'all can use it too. You know, you could have a little trim bush. We have a little trim bush. Everyone has bushes that are trimmed and nice and smooth. You don't worry about getting, stray hairs in your mouth because you know that your partner is clean shaved by Manscaped. Remember, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BUTTER20 at manscaped.com.
Now, let me just throw this out here, Brandon. I remember the days when my balls were unshaved, right? I'm out there, got to do my thing. I'm using a normal trimmer. I got maybe I get myself a little nick. You don't want to show up to a girl's place and you got little nicks in your private regions. Manscaped, you get past all of that because it's there to protect your nuts. It's there to protect your nuts. That's what I love about it.
That's right. I can't say it enough. Get 20% off and free shipping worldwide with the code BUTTER20 at manscaped.com. It supports the show. It supports your health. It supports your hygiene, and it supports your sex life.
Mm-hmm.
Come and get some.
Get your balls smooth. BUTTER20.
Medium popcorn, we are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn, woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo.
You're looking good, man.
Yeah, I mean, inside I want to die, but outside it's I'm improving the exterior.
Dude, your newest
That's all that matters.
Of Righteous Prick, man, that's your New Orleans. Because it's like, I love that city, but then also it's like, I know people that say incoherent shit like that down there. So it's like, you're just like, oh, la la, the food's so good. It's just shit, food and shit.
What about the food? Yeah, it was today. The whole South can go fuck itself as far as I'm concerned. But today, 9 years, no offense, anybody listening who's nice from the South. But it was one of those things like I've been trying to get back into a club for 9 years. 9 years. It dawned on me, like the last time I performed there was 2013, but I've been emailing you several times a year for almost a decade. And he finally, he would get back to me infrequently, gets back to me like a couple months ago after all my shit had happened. And he was like, yeah, no, plenty of my friends were actually sending me your stuff, not even knowing you were a stand-up comedian. So we'll get you down here. And today I give him my avails. I say, okay, so here's my December 2021 through the end of my life. Here are my avails. And he goes, I was actually going to ask you about the end of October. And then I almost wanted to just book a flight down to that city and confront him physically and go, I'm tired of your shit. It's getting to that point. It's getting to the point where I'm just going to use the money I made playing Trump to just go meet club owners in person and exact some sort of John Wick-like revenge.
You know what's funny?
Justice, pure justice.
With Event Horizon, it's actually an origin story of JL taking all this money, investing in the station.
He's going across the galaxy and exacting his revenge against everyone.
Little did Lawrence Fishburne know that JL knows that in a former life he was the owner of the Chuckle Hut.
That's right.
But hey, everybody, it's Medium Popcorn. It's Brandon Collins.
Guys, it's Justin Brown. That was a weird transition.
I know, man, I'm a little high. This is going to be fun, though, because we have an amazing guest. But it's been a while. I think the last episode he was on was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Together for J-L Cauvin. How you doing, man?
I'll lie for your audience and say I'm doing great.
That's all we ever ask. Yeah, just lie to the people.
Things are pretty much where they there was a major aberration for the world in my career in 2020, and now things feel like pretty much settled back to where they were.
And are you gonna really stop the Trump podcast? Because I know that's been doing really well for you.
Yeah, it has been. But it's hard to stop it in a way. But I think that, I don't know, I kind of want to take 2022 off and be like, if he runs again, we'll do it for another year. And if he wins or loses, I retire it. But I'm doing the thing is every week ends up being like a great episode. So I go, oh, okay, well, you know what? Might as well keep getting some ad money and keeping the fans happy. People, it's got a good size following, but it's also every time somebody comments to me online, like acting like I am Trump. It's like I post, here are my stand-up dates, and they're like, I'm gonna do, the tweets are like, very strong and powerful. And I go, no, you know what? It's okay. Sometimes I do things that are funny that don't involve Donald Trump, like the majority of my career. And especially when I'm posting things that aren't Trump related, it's especially okay to not try and drag Trump into it.
or the times when you post something which is obviously counter to what Trump would say, and people sort of strong arm Trump into that, but Trump would never. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, it's but you know what? Most people are dumb, and you just have to sort of treat them like golden retrievers, like pat them on the head and go, okay, it's not your fault.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anything that Event Horizon that people are very dumb, because there's no reason for these smart people, quote unquote, to then go to this mystery ship and then be like, I wonder what all this is about. Like they kept asking.
Hold on, time out. The smart people that were on the ship that eventually went to Event Horizon, they didn't know they were going there until about 20 minutes beforehand. This motherfucker, an old motherfucker from Jurassic Park, is just like, oh yeah, we go to Event Horizon today.
Oh yeah, because at first everyone stares at him like, the way that Vin Diesel introduced himself, they were like, oh, I was sitting here by Dom Toretto, and everyone just stares. That's how everyone stared when he said Event Horizon. And then Richard Jones gets up and is like, oh no. And I'm like, wait, what's Event Horizon?
This is like the equivalent of us going on a like a plane and somebody going, where's this going? And they're like, the spaceship, the Challenger space shuttle. Like, what? That blew up. I don't know if you heard.
Well, I mean, so you really at first, because then the bullshit then starts afterwards. But at first, you really can't blame anyone on Lawrence Fishburne's crew for boarding that ship. I mean, really. I'm just still gonna call him fucking Jurassic Park motherfucker.
His name is Sam.
He
respect on his name.
Jurassic Park motherfucker. He honey dicked the shit out of everybody. Nobody knew where they were going, and also he shows like, yeah, we're going to the Event Horizon. They're like, wait, what? He's like, yeah.
He's like, we're conveniently going to the spaceship to give me hallucinations about my wife who committed suicide.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
Also, his exposition was very similar because you keep going on Jurassic Park. It was very similar to Jurassic Park when he talks about the amphibian DNA and how now it caused them to breed. It felt very similar to the way he was talking about Event Horizon. He's like, they said in the spaceship that there's a crew and they were smart. and fed off water. I don't know. You guys are just staring at me like I got somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a bad impression.
Yes, it's terrible.
What I was gonna say is, I didn't get Sam Neill at all from that. What I was gonna say is,
who was it like, J-L? Because you're the master of impressions. So who would you accuse that?
it had a Brandon Collins-esque vibe to it. What I was gonna say is,
didn't change too much.
These guys, the thing is, these guys are more like outer space, like SEAL Team 6. So it's like they go on the pursuant to what Justin was saying. It's like they kind of go. It's like, we have a mission, you got to go. So it's not like they're like choosing the mission, or they're like some sort of rescue team.
Like mercenaries. They're almost like mercenaries.
But I think more official. I think more official, like this is our job, not like the money's good, more like this is what you signed up for.
Fishburne, that's why he's able to like yell at them the way he does. He's like, we have a job.
Yeah.
Like, he's very assertive. Because like you said, J-L, they're kind of like special forces almost. So
I mean, with that though, where did they pick up Jurassic Park motherfucker at? They like
JPMF.
Like, did they beam him on the ship? Like, how did he get there? Because like we start off and he's just like there, and they're like, oh, okay. So like no one asked him prior to the 20 minutes before they boarded the Event Horizon, hey man, where are you going? He's like, oh, I gotta go somewhere around Jupiter. So like it was just weird to me about how he got there and how like none of this came to light before they got so close where there was no turning back.
Yeah, I mean, I just assume there's year 2047 special space rescue mission protocols where you don't learn about the mission, you just go and then you get the details when you need to get them.
Speaking of the mission, though, I do want to call out, and Justin and I talk about this frequently in horror films. No one reacted accordingly to the horror that they were seeing. When they see that footage of the previous crew fucking and ripping each other's bodies apart and shoving their arms down people's throats, they're just watching the video like, oh dear, like, no, they're mutilating one another. Like, what is going on? Like, people are getting shredded in this movie. And I'm like, yo, this is the 90s were wild, man, because the gore in this movie is worse than anything I've seen in the past 5 years.
What I will say is what I found disappointing was that when I watched on HBO, when I got the call from you guys, it was on my HBO Max list because I like the movie and was like, oh, let me see what platform it's on. And I was like, oh, it's on HBO Max. Perfect. But when they post at the beginning of the movie, the reasons why it's rated R, gore, violence, nudity, and then they said rape. And you can imagine my disappointment when the movie ended. And I was like, is there a post-credits rape scene? Like, where was the rape? False advertising, Event Horizon. Here I am, tissues, lotion, the apartment to myself, nothing. Unless it was like some half a second montage clip during all the murder, which is who even would see it at that point? Like, what censor was watching going, no, I think between the guy getting his eyes ripped out and the guy having his arm ripped off, it looks like there's some unwanted touching over there in the corner. What is this? Blurred lines? This is canceled.
He didn't consent to that. He did not consent to that arm ripping.
I mean, this movie has had a lot of graphic imagery. I remember actually when this first came out, Fangoria. Do you all remember that horror movie magazine? So I remember they had Jason Isaac when he's like ripped apart. They had that as like the cover. They're the effects of Event Horizon, and I remember that scarred me. So when I re-saw this movie this past weekend, I was like, holy fuck, that still like fucks me up. The graphics in this movie really bothered me. I don't know why. It really fucks with me.
Especially the fact is that the graphics in this movie were pretty okay, but it was shot so terribly. It looked
like our Fox 64, bro.
But I feel like, are we judging? You guys could tell me. I feel like when I saw it in the theater with my uncle back in '97. And I love, like, I found it, you know, obviously I'm watching it today through my eyes as an 18-year-old. I know it's not like as good as I remember it, but I still remember when I saw it in the theater, I was like, this is scary. This is creepy. And it's also, you know, it's a horror sci-fi movie like that, like a sort of real mix of like Alien and The Shining, and copies them also. Like, let's be honest, but in a way where it's still making its own thing. But I feel like the effects, when I saw them in '97, I didn't sit and go, these effects suck. I'm feeling like it's current, like we've made so many advances that like currently it looks terrible.
Well, I guess for me, it's like when you see like this ship flying out of space, like that looks so bad. And we've had other things prior to that looks so much better than this. Yeah. So like it makes me, it made me wonder, is like, where did the $60 million budget go in this
Lawrence Fishburne?
That's true. Well, and also a Jurassic Park motherfucker.
Yeah, Sam Neill, or the wife from Apollo 13.
Oh, Kathleen Quinlan, low key. Like, she's one of those women that I like as a kid. I was like, well, pardon me, female listeners, this is just me speaking as a teen, you know, reverting back to teen JL. It's like, I guess she's all right looking, but she doesn't have like a big ass and big tits, and she's not in a bikini. But as an adult, like as a 42-year-old, I'm like, this woman is gorgeous. Like, what a cute thing. What a classy, cute dinner party wife that is.
I remember when
Julia Roberts, I never got it. Now that I'm 42, I'm like, that woman is stunning. As a kid, I'm like, shut up, old man. Where's Pam Anderson?
I still don't get Julia Roberts. I still don't get Julia Roberts. Right. It's just, she never did it for me. I don't know why.
In regards to this actress, I remember Apollo 13 when she was in the shower and she loses her wedding ring, right? It's like a very, you know, emotional scene in the movie. And I just remember being like a young kid being like, I'd like to get in that shower with her. Like, I just was
as a young kid.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'd love to get in that shower.
It's
exactly
creepier that you at like 9 are like, I like to get in the shower with her. You turn into Black Sling Blade.
I want to feature off them mammograms.
Oh shit. Okay, so JL, you said you liked this movie.
I did.
And what did you compare it to? What did you say it was like
originally the thought I always had was kind of because of all the hell, demon, demonic kind of stuff. I thought it is, what I wrote on Twitter was that it's like a Aliens. Well, really Alien, the first Alien, because it's a lot less. It's more, you know, Alien is a horror movie set in space. Aliens is like a sci-fi action movie with some scares, but like Alien is almost just a straight up horror movie. And this was like kind of Alien meets The Exorcist. Although while rewatching it yesterday, I was more like, maybe The Shining. Maybe it's a little more The Shining meets Alien than it is The Exorcist. But then they talk about hell and demons, so it kind of makes me go into the Exorcist sort of realm. But it's The Shining meets Alien.
Got it. Okay.
Final answer.
I think that definitely fits, especially with the journey that Sam Neill's character takes, where he seems his wife and she's missing her eyes and she's got her titties out. Then you see her with a straight razor and she's a switchblade, and then she starts cutting herself. And I was just like, I can't. This movie's putting too much in my face.
Yeah, and the big buckets the big pools of blood flowing out. That was very Shining.
Yeah,
exactly when it all crashed on Jolie Richardson, another white starlet that I had a huge crush on around this time.
Didn't know who she was until
still don't.
She popped up.
And I just watched the movie
too, and I was like, "Hey, there you go, Jolie." Her sister died not too long ago. Was married to Liam Neeson. I know way too much.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see the resemblance now.
Yep. Huh. But I want to say real quick before we get deep into the plot, 1997 might be one of the best years, not for cinema, but for like movie going, because we had this movie, we had Face Off. We had Spawn, we had The Devil's Advocate, we had Contact, we had
I love Contact. I know that movie gets ripped by some people. I think Contact was like, I don't know what was going on in my life or my head at the time, but I remember when they were about to go to space, my heart was pounding. I think I just liked Jodie Foster so much that I was just like, oh God, please be safe. But I was
not her,
invested in
not
that
now.
97, we got Con Air, we got Titanic, we got
Air,
Good Will
wow.
Hunting, Devil's Advocate, Scream 2, Mortal
Well,
Kombat,
Devil's Advocate gets 2 mentions. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty good.
Jackie Brown.
Wow.
You got to always mention Al Pacino twice. That's like the deal.
He's an absentee landlord. I don't like my
the
client.
craziest devil in the world.
The Keanu Reeves, I would make my friends at the DA's office laugh with my Keanu Reeves lawyer impression from Devil's Advocate. I don't like my client. He cheats on his wife. He's not a good person. But I can tell you that he is an innocent man. Like it's Keanu Reeves. What a great agent he has to just get him into movies where he doesn't have to do a lot of acting. Like the Wick movies, the Matrix movies, like getting him into these blockbusters where he doesn't have to like do too much. He can just kind of be likable. And
Because when they try to make him do stuff, it was just what you just demonstrated, JL. It was just, ooh, why would they put him in the same scene as Gary Oldman, who's clearly going method as Dracula? This is not going to end well.
all right.
You know what? You know what to think about it? I mean, the whole Speed fiasco, which led to him actually being blackballed by the industry, was actually kind of the best thing that ever happened for him.
He got blackballed by the industry?
Yeah, so they wanted him to do Speed 2, but he didn't want to do it. So then because he didn't sign on to do Speed 2, they basically Keanu Reeves just went away for a while. So he could only, the studio blackballed him. They wouldn't sign any of his movies. So he had to do he did a bunch of independent things or like smaller things. So that's all because of he just refused to do Speed because he hated it.
Stood in line for popcorn at opening night of Borat when I went to see it. Keanu Reeves in front of me for popcorn, and Michael Moore sitting in front of me in the theater.
How much popcorn did
Really?
Michael Moore have?
I didn't notice, but Keanu Reeves, just like any other guy, he just kind of gave like a head nod to some people, just trying to live his life. That's why people like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like eating popcorn during a movie.
So, okay. So
Charlize Theron was the real revelation in that movie to me, though, because I felt like
Yeah.
she gave the best performance in the movie.
She did. Because Al Pacino was over the top. Al Pacino was way over the fucking top.
What if I take Scent of a Woman, but do it times 20?
what do you think of that, Keanu?
I'm the devil. Ha!
I don't like Satan.
Well, he's my client.
Trying to talk about this crazy horror movie. Y'all keep going back to Al Pacino. Al Pacino was not in this movie, Joe.
I think he might have been in some of the scenes from the original crew.
Now that scene, actually, there were like a lot of scenes where I was like, okay, I know which future sci-fi movie took from this. Like when they watched the archival footage of the original crew of Event Horizon, that reminded me of what was the movie with Natalie Portman where she goes to try to find Oscar Isaac, her husband?
Annihilation.
They show the video footage of like,
oh yeah.
his crew. I was like, oh, okay, so this movie was inspired by that.
Can I give you guys, in case you haven't seen it, an underrated a movie I really feel was underrated because it probably just reminded people of so many things, but it's in this genre. Yeah. Life with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah, well, Ryan Reynolds is like they use him for the preview. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like here's your
he died
scene.
like 2 seconds in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that movie to be like a very worthy kind of Event Horizon upgrade kind of movie. But anyway, Event Horizon.
No, you're right. You're right. Because I remember seeing that movie. I was just like, I thought Ryan Reynolds was in this, and then he was dead. And I was just like, oh, but this is actually still a good movie. Post Ryan Reynolds' death. Yeah, because usually when they do that, it's a honey dick, and you're not gonna like what happens after it.
Right.
You got honey on your dick, and the squid still makes it to Earth. So, spoiler alert. With Event Horizon, No one freaked out when they saw this big silver globe just spinning around. Like no one was like, "Hey, that's some scary shit," because that room just looks terrifying.
It looks like an ancient. It looks like somehow a meeting of like the future and like an ancient civilization. Like it has that like this is a temple from 2000 BC look, but then it's also got the sphere in the middle with the 3 rings.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that after hearing, so before they actually boarded the Event Horizon, they got played the recording from the ship with all the screaming and all this fucking craziness, and not one person was just like, "Nah, fuck that, ain't going." Nope. Everybody was just like, "All right, let's go and board this thing."
Also, we're supposed to
sense of it.
Jason Isaac, the Brit on the ship, was like, "I like can understand this language." He's saying, "Save me." I'm like, "What?"
No, because he understood Latin.
I mean, not many people understand Latin.
No, but some people. I took a Latin class. I can't tell you anything in Latin, but there are some people. I know people who can understand Latin.
I've dated Latin women. So you know. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Latinx.
Latinx. You're right.
I mean, you've already said you can't be politically correct now after all this. Keep it going.
Hispanics with an X.
All right. Why did wife from Apollo 13 get the worst death though? She got to see a vision of her dead son with those sores in his leg, and then she drops like viciously, hitting these corner steps or whatever the fuck.
Her son wasn't even dead, right? Because she said her husband would be with her son.
Exactly.
Like, in the beginning of the movie, she was like, "Oh, so and so will take care." So she's just having visions of her son being like eaten by flesh-eating diseases, and then she just, you know.
Oh well, I got the impression that the son was injured, like not injured, but like maybe had like some trauma in the past. And
no, she was just a worrisome mother. Because she was just leaving her son with her husband, and she was going to be away from him for so long. So that was that whole ordeal. So basically, this demon thing basically plays off your worst fears or just the things that fucking
trigger you.
Right, like if I were on Event Horizon, it would be me watching my comedy career get destroyed by lip sync videos.
Exactly. I don't know how that's gonna kill you, but eventually it'll come full circle.
It's killing me. It is killing me. So I don't know how it works physiologically, but it is happening.
But listen, bro, I've been listening to you for a long time. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time.
Thank you, Brandon.
And on your podcast, like with the way you've talked about your career and just the things that have happened, are you really like in this? I want you to win. I want you to succeed. Given the dark Charlie Brownish turns sometimes in your career, are you really surprised that you got taken over by a lip syncer?
No, I mean, once it was the perfect bookend to like in 2011, Patrice O'Neill passes away after, you know, asking me to open for him again at the DC Improv. And just, you know, 9 years later, lip sync. So it's, and everything in between. It's just, it is the book of, it is when they write a third testament to the Bible, the book of J-L will replace the book, will be the upgraded book of Job. The book of joke, featuring the trials and tribulations of
use your blogs for the script. He's gonna be reading in this old English.
Here he is fighting for middle acts in comedy, not knowing that by 2025 every club would eliminate feature acts.
And for today's readings, JL to the Twitters.
JL on the train, trying to make it to Philly.
5 hours waiting to get home.
Oh, that's the thing I didn't get about this movie. How much time passed between them being in hypersleep in stasis or whatever, waking up, getting to the Event Horizon, and then the end that we saw?
I would say, based on my expertise of the Aliens movies, as well as the very underrated or underpraised Away on Netflix, starring Hilary Swank, which is a tough like if you're a kid of the 80s, you know, you see a woman named Swank, you think of adult magazines, but but in a way they take like 2 years to get to Mars.
Okay.
Or something. It's like a 2-year journey to get to Mars. Now,
yeah, but they
Mars
only
is
wake
like,
up to last like 52 days or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and Mars is like our closest planet. So I'm guessing, but you know, technology advances, obviously. You know, by 2047, we can probably get the speed up a little bit, but it's got to be years till they wake up, or a couple of years.
Okay, all right. You know, speaking, you know, now that you talk about just like the time thing, so we also have to talk about the thing that caused this whole thing. The Event Horizon is kind of like a time jump or a time skip. So the way Jurassic Park motherfucker explained this to us.
For a second, I really thought we were talking about Jurassic Park. I'm like, I'm
and so like if it's like the what do they say, I guess the fastest way between 2 points is not you know straight, it's actually direct.
Yeah.
If they're together, so like you take a piece of paper, you fold together, and it's like you're going right through time. So they somehow created some sort of wormhole so that for them to jump from this place to this place, and that somehow brought in this hell demon thing, which unlocked that, which basically brought hell on.
It's basically about how TikTok got invented.
Fair. Yeah, that's about it.
I think it's a good parable for American society, the way we fucking destroy each other.
Well, as the British guy, as the British,
for the Event Horizon crew, they were fucking. If you look closely, there's
but Brandon, it's not about fucking. It's about technology. It's about technology and going further and further along with technology, which then opens the doors to pure fucking evil. It's not about the fucking.
No, but the technology will lead to fucking. It'll lead to more fucking.
So basically, I agree with Justin that fucking here is only an adjective, not a noun.
So Brandon, what Brandon is saying here is that this whole movie is just basically Tinder. the big bad in this is Tinder, right?
I was surprised that no one fucked in this movie outside that weird torture self-mutilation scene.
And why didn't Sam Neill? I mean, his wife, she might have been missing eyes, but she was still naked with some hard nips. Like, she was. You miss her, go get her.
You know, Sam Neill and kept giggling. You're just, you're not gonna have a shirt on.
If that was Helen Hunt, I bet he would have went for it.
Helen Hunt.
Oh boy, you going for Laura Dern?
Ah, shit. The same thing. Same white women.
And then Baron Davis comes in.
Same white woman, don't matter.
So everyone gets like a vision of like something that, you know, Justin, you said their worst fear or like something that haunts them from their past. So Lawrence Fishburne is the captain. His whole thing was he abandoned some members of an old crew.
A guy like who burned up, but there was like nothing he could do. That wouldn't be my worst fear. Like it would haunt you, like the visual of it might haunt you, but it's like, if you have no choice, if it's like, I go in there, we both die, then I feel like you can kind of get over that a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, well, you know, hey, tomato, right?
I think my dog is puking right now. She's not a fan of Lawrence Fishburne, apparently.
Probably more of a fan of his daughter.
She, my dog identifies as a she.
Oh, well, I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, we can't, you know, say what your dog likes.
Yeah, love is love. JL, don't you know this?
Love is blind. Yeah, I know. We're all over the place in this one.
We are. I'm trying to keep it on the rails.
I'm sorry, baby bear.
Yeah, that was weird.
Why would they keep Mr. Justin that Lawrence Fishburne would call him? Everybody else called him Baby Bear. What the fuck was going on with that?
Okay, so because Lawrence Fishburne had previously abandoned that one crew member who got burned up, is that why he was so calm and collected when that Josh dude who was in stasis and then like woke up and tried to kill himself? He's like, let me out, Captain. He's like, I can't do that, Josh. And I'm like, that's so casual. Like this dude's about to die. You're just like, can't let you out, man.
Baby Bear was to to Channing Tatum what Jesse Plemons is to Matt Damon.
That's so specific.
That's a walk around the block, my friend. I like it.
Yeah, it was. I think one of those images where the guy's like, once the guy's in the airlock, and to me, it's a good horror choice. Instead of you show his veins, but then you show his eyes start to bleed, and I was like, yeah, that for whatever reason that freaks me out. Like spitting blood, we've seen a lot. But when a guy is like trying to hold the blood in his eyes, you're like, oh boy, why are we even saving him?
There were some fucked up death scenes in this movie that they were like really twisted. But you could tell also a lot of work went into the effects to make it look as real as possible. I think that's what took me out, because I've been watching a lot of horror films that have cartoonish blood, right? But with the actual people, like the blood coming through that capsule and like, splashing on Julia Richardson, that's just red water, right? But the actual aesthetics of when like they cut Jason Isaac in half, or when even the woman falls and her legs are all split open and then she gets smashed, it's like, it's just so jarring and scary. And the fact that the director actually wanted it to be more violent and had to cut 30 minutes makes me wonder what the fuck was the next level of this going to be.
We got to get the director's cut.
I don't know if I could watch it, honestly. I could barely get through this, and this is like this is not even much over an hour and a half. It's pretty short, and this from start to finish creeps me out, and the violence really fucked with me. I texted Justin, I'm like, dude, this is fucking me up.
A good horror and a good comedy can almost always be done in 90 minutes. Like if because your senses are up, so it's like if you go too long, it can sometimes like diminish that, like you start to like acclimate to it. You know what I mean? You start to be like, oh, whatever. I mean, the movies like The Exorcist are an exception to that, because they are much more cinema. That's much more cinema than it is just chills and thrills. But sorry, Justin.
Have either of you ever done like a horror film?
Like been on the set of one? Yeah,
but been on like because I think that there's actually something to, using like I guess like the grassroots kind of horror effects, like the prosthetics and the fake blood with the pumps and things like that. I think that actually brings something to horror that really kind of makes it feel a little bit more real, and then also gives a better performance out of the actor. So like I had to do a thing where like my throat got slit. So like basically my hands were glued to to the steering wheel of a car. So I couldn't take my hands off. That guy pulled up out of the back seat, grabbed my head back and slit my throat. And there was something like, bro, like, it was a fake knife.
You were scared for like half a second. Like it's still,
it's still
thing is happening.
Yeah. It's such a vulnerable moment. It's like, and you like somebody, and like at parts, I just wanted to reach up and like grab his hand, but it's like that whole thing. So like the performances come out so real, and that's the thing about doing about seeing like some of these horror films where it's all these special effects and computer generated. It's just like, how the fuck you gonna get like some real like terror out of your actor? When it's not the things that make us that make our fucking skin crawl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what I'm hearing is Marvel and Disney are ruining cinema with their green screen technology. I hear you loud and clear. Team Scorsese.
But I think I think there's something about that really kind of, it's definitely, because like when Baby Bear, was in that little chamber holding the blood from fucking squirting out of his eyes, like, and the whole vein thing. It's like, I know that's a lot of computer generation, but it's like, just when I was watching it, picturing that and just like how I would be freaking out, it came off a little bit more authentic, to the point where I kind of wondered, like, did they have something supposedly squirting out of his eyes that he was like covering to get that effect, because it did seem like he was given a real decent performance out of it.
I mean, everyone did a solid job performance-wise. Like, I actually think this is probably one of the best acted horror films because it's played completely straight, and I bought all the characters, and I thought like, obviously the shock of how they died, like, didn't allow the actors to really express any emotion or real fear.
Except for is it Smith, when he sees the bomb has like 6 seconds left. I thought that was actually a very good, like 5 seconds of just like, how do you register your world coming to an end suddenly, and you only have 5 seconds to put it together.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everyone except for Joey Richardson and Richard T. Jones dies, and they die in really brutal ways. Like they die like J.L., you like compare this to the Shining, but even Alien, like people in this movie, I think got way worse than any recent horror film I can think of. Because between slashers, that's just being stabbed up with a knife, but some of these people were being flayed. Like Sam Neill at the end, when he like the ship fully takes him over, his skin is like chopped up, like you look like fucking Jigsaw from The Punisher.
Yeah.
Also,
can we
eyes back.
What's that?
Where did he get his eyes back?
Did he take them from somebody?
They killed the original. Remember, he kills
pulled out his own eyes.
Yeah, but he kills that version of Sam Neill. But then Sam Neill comes back as like the shredded up version of him, but he has eyes. And that's what Lawrence Fishburne has to blow him up. He has to sacrifice himself.
That's a good point.
Even though he had no way of knowing that Joey Richardson and Richard T. Jones were going to make it.
Richard T. Jones, thank you for naming him, because I was actually glad he survived. I would have laughed if he had not survived, because he almost got I think that was a tribute to Scatman Crothers. Like he makes it all the way back to the ship just to die would be like an insane thing. But that's what it seemed like at first. Like he gets all the way back to the ship, and then Sam Neill like fires an arrow at him. And but he did have to do the 80s 90s cliche of no matter how dire and serious the situation, the black guy has to be like oh man, what the fuck is going on with this? It's like,
motherfucker,
demons have taken over a ship, and you're in the middle of the solar system with no help, no chance for survival, and you still are like, man.
Yeah, I was like, who's he talking to? He's just like, I can't believe this happening. I'm like, it's just you, bro.
But that did reassure me that he was gonna make it back, because I'm like, you can't end a character's life in a horror movie. It was like, I guess I'm like George Clooney in Gravity. Like, I guess I'm just floating until I die.
Yeah.
Gravity spoiler.
It was funny to me because I was just like, oh boy, they have this brother just cooning up. It was high level coonery going on. Like when Jurassic Park nigga came out of his little pod, and then he's just sitting there with a towel on. He's like, what is going on? You want some coffee, baby?
Joey Richardson's like, hey girl, you want some black in your coffee or something like that? You want something black in you? And then at the end, when he's like consoling her, I was like, nigga, I'm looking at the way you rubbing on her. You finally getting your feeling. Yeah, Richard Jones.
I think producers were just like, it's the 90s. If we have Lawrence Fishburne, that's too much black gravitas. We need to balance it out with some black cliches.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, are we just going to have a movie where the captain is black and we just look to the black character as a figure of authority, and we don't have any other outlet to laugh at black people?
Like he's walking through at the beginning, Lawrence Fishburne's walking through the ship. He sees Richard T. Jones. He's just like, hey, brother, and gives him the pound. He's like, all right, Slim.
They would have like Lawrence Fishburne had one of his really dramatic monologues that he had in this movie, and then he walks down the hallway, and then Richard T. Jones just sitting in the hallway eating a watermelon.
Jesus Christ, Brandon, why did you have to take it that far?
That's in the 2-hour
catfish
version.
Sandwich.
That's in the 2-hour version. He raps. He raps with a demon for 2 minutes. They have a rap battle.
Hey, Captain Miller, I'm frying up this catfish here. If you need some, I got these greens and catfish on. What you want? Put me down for 3 plates. I want to wrap something up and take it back home to my lady.
I will say this: that my big issue with the movie is that Sam Neill, aka JPMF, was. Like my girlfriend had never seen the movie and she made actually a decent joke. I gave her credit. She put on like a white trash accent and said, "I don't trust this doctor. I'm going to do my own research." So she sort of did a combo MAGA horror film analysis, but he tips his hand. I feel like the director shouldn't have. It surprised me when I was 18, but probably because I was an idiot. But watching it now, it's like by Sam Neill's like 3rd scene, you're like, this dude's too creepy.
Yeah, he's
too sinister. He's not like, you need to give him more of a vibe of I'm the science officer on board and here's the data, not the I invented. Like by the 3rd scene, he's just like looking at things like, that's the event horizon. And you're like, oh, okay, you're the best. Okay, it's you.
Well, it's also Lawrence Fishburne's pressing him. He's like, "What's going on, doctor?" He's like, "I don't know." If it's like To Catch a Murderer, like, did you do it? I don't know. Like, come on. Like, Sam Neill was being very, very obvious.
Yeah, it kind of pulled the movie down a little bit for me.
Because it didn't make my memory of the movie. This is the 3rd time I've seen the movie because I saw it in the theater and then I saw it like a few years ago and then I watched it yesterday. And my memory was not that he was so obvious early on, but watching it, I'm like I said, my girlfriend picked up on it, right? Like was like, I don't trust him. Like by his 2nd scene, she was just like, it's him, right? And I was like, yeah, because he needed to be more Jurassic Park vibes. Like I'm amazed by the science. This is so, but instead it was like, this is my project. I did this. Like,
and you know what? I think that's what I was kind of looking for out of his performance in this, those Jurassic Park vibes. And mind you, yes, this is on, this is because he is Jurassic Park nigga. But not getting that, it kind of did murky the water for me. I'm just like, what is he doing? Why is he not giving that in this when that would totally make sense and that which would make this a better movie?
It's all what the director wanted. Paul W.S. Anderson, who also has directed all those terrible Resident Evil films. Like, you can only do so much, Justin. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
I would say, and if they remade this, they could remake this. I think Michael Sheen gets cast in the Sam Neill role. Only because I think they look alike.
All right. I mean but Michael Sheen has a look where he always looks like he got caught with something.
He's got beady eyes.
Yeah, even though immediately he's the bad guy. He looks like a real life Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. Just
dated Sarah Silverman for a few years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sarah Silverman aged very well.
Yeah.
She looks like she has very smooth skin.
Well, that took a turn.
I'd like to wear it.
All he had to do was tag it with that. The spacesuits apparently weighed 65 pounds each and were so heavy that the actors actually risked back injuries and they couldn't even sit down on them. So special poles had to be constructed around the set so they could stand and rest on them.
That seems unnecessary.
Totally is.
Can't you just use sound to make it sound like the suit is heavy?
Yep.
That just feels like the most unnecessary shit ever.
And also, Justin, you said we got this movie because of Jurassic Park, but we actually got this movie because of Mortal Kombat. Because Paul W.S. Anderson, who's director of Mortal Kombat, was offered the opportunity to direct this movie off the strength of the box office success of Mortal Kombat. And he actually turned down directing the first X-Men, the X-Files movie, and Alien Resurrection to do this movie. Shout out to you.
I'm glad he did.
Research on this.
Yeah. I'm glad he turned down all those other movies. Yeah.
What was the first one he turned down? The X-Men movie. That was a mistake.
For him.
Yeah, but that would have been a terrible X-Men. We wouldn't have gotten those sequels if this brother was in charge of that.
Nah. We still would have got it. They just
Bryan Singer did the first two X-Men, right?
Yeah.
And he's a good dude, right?
Stand-up guy, love him. Most people do in Hollywood.
Works every day on set, from what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Every day he's there early and stays. He's the last one off set.
Yep. Not that much of a party or anything like that either.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. For Lawrence Fishburne's role, they actually were going to go older and whiter. They offered Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tommy Lee Jones, and Bruce Willis the role of Captain Miller.
Only one I see that could actually have done that role was probably Tommy Lee Jones.
And I agree. He would be my first choice of those three, but
Yes.
I feel like he's not military to me. He's sheriff. He's cop.
Mhm.
He's
Yep.
not, I mean, obviously he's a talented actor, but
He's
like,
a lead a DA or something like that.
yeah, like Lawrence Fishburne, I felt like was really good. Like it was like he brought the right authority to like it felt very perfect. Like the authority he brought.
It's what Idris Elba tried to do in Prometheus. Like he successfully did that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I remember Prometheus being like, I thought Idris One was going to have a bigger role, but then out of nowhere he has this one like kind of forced dramatic scene with Charlize Theron. He's like, this is what we signed up for, and I'm like, this is not resonating with me. But Lawrence Fishburne, when he has those monologues, I was like, he's acting, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Who else could have been good in this role at that time? Like late 90s? Robin Williams?
Oh,
Robin Williams for the Sam Neill role, actually.
actually,
that-
That's unsuspecting, and you would think, oh, like he could play it straight, but then the audience, because it's still Robin Williams, especially like this is around Good Will Hunting time, where people just started to shift their thing of what he could do. I
was being sarcastic, but yes, that's not bad.
Well, I
But
mean,
I think he would be
Williams,
too big a star for the like. In other words, it would distract from the. It'd be like Robin Williams is the like, yeah.
Well, I mean, what's that movie where Robin Williams was like the killer?
Oh,
He's like
Insomnia.
Insomnia with Al Pacino.
Insomnia. Yeah,
I
He was
can't
do Insomnia.
sleep. I go to Alaska. The sun never sets.
That is a very quiet performance from Al Pacino, though. Like Christopher Nolan, like whispered in his ear before every take, like, "Okay, whatever volume you want to do right now, take it down 20. We'll get the scene just right."
But like, and that's, and I brought up Insomnia because like that was one of those roles where yes, it was Robin Williams in there, but he, and to your point, JL, it didn't seem distracting. It's like because when Robin Williams,
But I think in that movie though, he's going like star to star. Like it's a Al Pacino is like even a bigger star. Like so, it's in this one he would be as good a career as Lawrence Fishburne has had. Lawrence Fishburne is like. I don't think you make a good point like that Insomnia, it's like he's doing a regular, but I think, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it would have worked. Yeah.
well, let's get it over to their people and we can see what happens.
Yeah. Is Robin available?
All right, before we go down that road, because the last thing I want is to have to end up on the ship and he takes over a la Event Horizon.
Turns out the ship is alive. Blah, blah, blah.
Before we give our own ratings for this movie, I do want to pull up a 10 out of 10 star rating for Event Horizon from IMDb. And the subject reads, "The greatest movie ever made." And this is by Elliot Does Reviews. This is the greatest movie ever made. If you wish to argue with me on this, I will meet you at a location of your choosing and engage you in a fist fight until you change your Philistine mindset. Also, P.S. Anderson didn't put his talentless wife, Mila Jovovich, in this one, which instantly qualifies it as the best movie he's ever made. Gives 0 fucks. It's also insane.
Wow. That's like, I mean, that's, I appreciate that review. I can't agree with the 10 out of 10, but I like that he went all in.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say that I would like to meet this man behind a Denny's. So we can go at it if you want.
A weird location.
What's that?
Nothing.
What did you say, Brendan?
I said so you can get a blowjob because Denny's is such a weird location to meet.
Nah, people fight behind Denny's.
If he had said Perkins, that would have been more Tiger Woods style.
Yeah, or like a ground round or something like that.
I miss ground round as a kid, man. Great. Free popcorn just sitting on the table.
Buys a Popeye cartoon being played on a projector. Or a Ponderosa. If I said meet you behind a Ponderosa, that means there's definitely some fucking beard on cock going on.
Yo, Ponderosa Steakhouse had some of the worst steak.
Whoa, hold on. Ponderosa Steakhouse? You mean Ponderosa fucking shitty buffet that you eat with where it's you and a bunch of divorced men eating at
Hey Larry, what'd you have dinner at last night? I had the Ponderosa, Amy still won't let me come home.
It was a sad place. The Ponderosa is the saddest place. I haven't been to the Ponderosa since I was a kid. So my dad worked late nights. And sometimes like he'd get off so late and he didn't get a chance to go to lunch, and he'd come home and my mom didn't make any food. Like, I'm gonna go to the Ponderosa, and it was a Friday. If I was still up, he's like, hey, you want to come? So I would go to the Ponderosa with my dad. And I remember us sitting at the Ponderosa, we would go up to get our food, and I'm looking around there, and there's nothing but just like lonely, dilapidated men just sitting around, just spoonfuling mashed potatoes and gravy into their mouth. It's like
Steakhouse Horizon.
Yeah, they couldn't even afford to go to Boston Market at the time. That's how broken they were.
Nah, bro, this Ponderosa was open at like 2:00 in the morning at that point. Jesus Christ. So this was like 11. There was like 11:30 at night. And these guys, or like truckers and shit like that, bro. Like Ponderosa, oh boy, it was something different.
I think there's definitely a comedy that could be had on FX about the kitchen crew at a Ponderosa. I think it could be a compelling comedy. But Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. So guys, we rate movies back to popcorn: small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a movie doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile. We pile piles and piles of dog shit on top of it. So we sat down and watched the 1997 film Event Horizon, starring Larry Fishburne, aka Ike Turner, Sam Neill, aka Jurassic Park motherfucker, and a whole bunch of other people who we didn't even need to see on camera ever again. JL, what say you, sir?
And you can't go in between sizes, right? There's no like, could I get some spillage over onto my large popcorn? I'm gonna go a strong large popcorn, like it's a good fresh batch large popcorn. Can't go XL would be for The Exorcist, The Conjuring, that level. This is one step below them, but it's the top. For me, it's the top of the next level.
Okay, Brandon.
Yeah, this gets a small for me. Not because I think it's a bad movie. It's just it fucked me up. It fucked me up to the point where I'm still thinking about it. I still get a little nauseous because just some of the death scenes were just unnecessarily brutal. It was like Deep Blue Sea, when that poor woman falls into the water and her crotch gets eaten by the shark, it was like that times 20. From start to finish, it fucked me up. It had those quick jump scares, and it kept showing us those people getting sliced up and fucked up. You know, they were showing the visions of Lawrence Fishburne. This movie fucked me up. So you get a small event horizon because you fucked up my night, you're fucking up my week, and you're fucking up this podcast because I'm not giving it its fair due, but I don't care. Rotten Tomatoes. Small. Justin, what's your rating?
I'm gonna give it a small as well, and the reason I'm giving it a small is because I felt like the actors didn't really play this real. You know, the fact is that no one really reacted to like the fucked up shit that they were seeing, or just foreshadowing. Is just like, oh, you're listening to this recording, yeah, bad shit's going on, maybe we should be kind of hesitant, in going into this place. It just seemed like they were going through the motions, and like obviously there were stakes as the movie went on, but the acting in the film, it felt like the stakes weren't there until there was no other place for them to go.
Stakes were
especially being in fucking space.
Would it have helped to have like a Bill Paxton from Aliens type character who was like
over, man,
freaking out? So at least you could see somebody being like, yeah, I know we're all calm military people, but this is beyond the pale.
I think so. That's why that's one of the most memorable performances in those type of movies, because he's the audience and being like, dude, we're all gonna die. Like, this is all.
And to be totally honest, I think that character was supposed to be Mr. Justin, also known as Baby Bear. But they didn't give us enough of that, or even play that enough to really. We needed that in here, especially when you're going fucking, kind of biblical hell shit and stuff like that. Somebody's gonna feel this shit and be like, yo, something's going on. I don't know about this shit. But like without that, it was kind of just like it felt a little stale to me.
And that is Medium Popcorn's take on Event Horizon. JL, please tell the listeners how they can follow you and keep up with what you have going on.
Keep what?
Keep up with what you have going on. I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. Hey, folks, go to jlcomedy.com. You can find all my social media links. When does this go up?
Probably in like 2 weeks.
Okay. I have shows in December and February, and other ones will be added. So I have 2 podcasts every week. They're incredible and amazing and funny. Righteous Prick and Making Podcasts Great Again. Everything you need, though. If you want to follow me on social media, you want to buy my albums, you want to listen to my podcasts, etc., find out where I'm performing, everything is at jlcomedy.com.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us, JL. It's been a long time. So
a great pleasure.
Have you back on. And Justin, how can people follow you?
Guys, you can follow me at jbrowndidit on Twitter and Instagram. Brandon.
Y'all can follow me in American Clowns, AmericanClowns.com. Drum Black History on Friday, October 29th at Caveat in New York City. Come and join us. We got tickets in person and also live stream. So tickets can be bought at drumblackhistory.com. And you can follow the show at Medium P Podcast on all social media platforms. Be sure to push that subscribe button on the YouTube page, and then www.mediumpopcorn for all your Medium Popcorn needs. And Justin, if you want to support the show financially, what can they do, my brother?
Baby. Take yourself on down to patreon.com/medium popcorn. Oh, yes. You got $2, $5, $10, $15 packages just packed full of that butter, baby. So go ahead and get yourself that butter at patreon.com/medium popcorn. They got the rant. They got What Am I Watching? They got them Zoom party nights. Oh, baby, you're going to love it. And if you're feeling extra froggy, that ain't it. Take yourself over to tpublic.com/medium popcorn. Get yourself some swag, baby.
You sound like the grandma from the Nutty Professor.
That's exactly what I'm going for. Come on, motherfucker. Come on.
JL, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everybody. Happy Halloween. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.